Welcome back to the courtroom, ladies and gentlemen. We had a very interesting session last week with Kevin and Sam. Kevin being rightfully put in his place. Do you agree, John?
Oh yeah, I heartily agree. I'm happy anytime Kevin is put in any place.
It's a pro band household.
Sam won the contest, so he continues on. But this week, typically I would be in here going against Sam, but since we have John as our special guest, we're going to have John and Sam going against each other. Now, the question is, folks, would Golden State be winning titles, being as good as they are without KD? John, you are all for the KD. In fact, you think that Golden State probably wouldn't have continued on their dominance without him, and Sam is saying that they would. So, why don't we start with John?
Yeah, happily. So I think first off, it's just that summer when they got KD was a magical fluke that changed everything for them because those guys were already kind of gassed coming off of that embarrassing 3-1 series loss, historically terrible, and after being historically great. So, obviously I think the Warriors, let me just say, would still be a good team, high playoff seed, even a title contender in many years. I just don't think that you'd be seeing them winning those back-to-back titles that they did with Kevin Durant, because when Kevin Durant's there, he was arguably in that time the best player in the league, easily second best in that period. And, that guy won them those 2 rings. It was like a breeze for that guy rolling through the league. Their playoff matchups were boring because no one could guard Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
So I think that without that, it's just a totally different team. We saw how good they can be without Kevin Durant. But that team was not nearly as good as what they were with Kevin Durant, especially that first ring they won with him. Maybe they get other free agents that build their team out a little bit more, but there's not really a free agent that you're going to pick up that has the same impact as the second best player in the league. So no, I don't think that we would have had a Warriors dynasty. In fact, I'm pretty sure that without Kevin Durant, I'm actually almost, I'll fucking say it. The Rockets would have won the ring that year. If there's no KD, it's the Rockets for sure. I think, and we also have to remember, if Kevin Durant doesn't go to the Warriors, he's going to another team. And that could have either been maybe he stayed in OKC, maybe he would have gone to Boston. He met with them. I don't think he would have gone to the Wizards. But then you have either of those possibilities where the other best matchup the Warriors had was the series against the Thunder where Klay Thompson saved them, and then you'd have potentially Kevin Durant staying there with Russ and building something cool, maybe finally breaking through, or you'd have Kevin Durant in Boston, where he would have had a bunch of solid pieces around him there too and been a real threat there. So I very much think that the Warriors with Kevin Durant, that's what made that team get those rings. That's it.
For sure. Sam, what do you have to say to that?
Delusional. Once again, my favorite word on this podcast, delusional. Are you kidding me? The 73-9, the greatest record in history. I get they blew a 3-1 lead, but you know who else blew a 3-1 lead? The OKC Thunder against the Golden State Warriors in the same playoffs. All right, do not forget about this. A season where Stephen Curry averaged 30 points. All right, 30 points. Klay Thompson, 22 points. Draymond Green, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. All right, unreal stats. Harrison Barnes, different story. I get that. Right? KD did upgrade. I understand that. Yes, I do agree to the point. They did blow the 3-1 lead to Cleveland. Also pro LeBron in this case, so everyone vote for me in that case. Let's just say this hypothetically. If Kevin Durant remained in OKC, right, just for the money's sake, right, so he gets $200 million, biz cash on the pool in OKC, I guess, worst probably city, one of the worst cities. This is their roster, all right, potentially. Second best player, Russell Westbrook, awesome. Third best player, a not prime Victor Oladipo, most likely, because they traded Serge Ibaka in the draft prior to free agency. You're going to see players like Dion Waiters. Anyone recall Dion Waiters on those gummies? Enes Kanter, phenomenal. Alex Abrinas, okay, rookie, nice. Steven Adams. The roster was not built by shooters. Is that KD fault? Not necessarily. It's totally Sam Presti, but that's a whole different argument. I got my own. But when you look at the Warriors, they just had consistency. Yes, it was only 5 to 7 players, but they had the exact same stats year after year after year. And I felt like there's no reason for this team to slow down. Sure, they lost in 2016 to the Cavs, but in the West, that playoff race was not that strong. The only other team that was really that strong was the San Antonio Spurs with the 2nd seed. And we kind of saw how that kind of fell apart with the infamous Zaza step. But like you have Memphis, Rockets, who are still kind of learning. Yeah, they're kind of strong, but they're still learning with the CP process. But like Memphis, Portland, they weren't ready yet. All right, the only team that was really capable was just the Warriors. They were just blatantly a better team at that point. Better in terms of having a better big three at that point. Yes, I count against my own argument of my favorite Spurs team, but that team was just already ready to continue winning and continue success.
All right. Now, typically that's where we're going to end it, but since this is a little bit special, I'm going to do one last round. So, John, do you have any final comments?
Yeah, my little closing argument here. I just think that, and I think I'm basing a lot of what I'm saying on the strength of that Rockets team. I think that, of the 3 toughest series that the Warriors had in their run, 2 of those were Rockets. And that one in the Western Conference Finals, if they don't have Kevin Durant, I don't even think it goes 7 games. I really think that Rockets team would have absolutely just maybe 6. I think that Rockets team would have definitely taken that title from them. What I will say is, the team would still be good. They'd have their championship DNA core put together still. They would have been a contender every year, and maybe even made the finals. And if they do make the finals, they're probably still winning over the LeBron Cavs, who were pretty terrible at that point. So I will give that. I just don't think that they do make the finals without Kevin Durant, because they almost didn't make it with Kevin Durant.
That's true. That's true. Sam, what are your last final thoughts?
I don't know. We keep talking about this Rockets team who really was very not well built. Am I right? We have James Harden, a very elite passer. Am I right? The man who shoots and has the ball almost 80% of the game. Am I correct? CP3, also a ball hogger, but has to own the other 19.2%, right? Point A goes to big old PJ Tucker, who I love. Probably shouldn't play the game anymore. I'm just going to be real. At that time, they had Corey Brewer, washed up. They had Lou Williams, who could have been good, but of course, good teams always trade away their best assets. They had Clint Capella, couldn't do anything because you can't beat a team that shoots 3. The team just shoots 3s. You can't beat that with a big guy in the paint. They can't win. So I don't know. I just feel like that Rockets team was not ready. If anything, the Spurs. But I mean, we got our title, so all guys are gassing it right now.
Kevin, if you had to decide between John and Sam, who would you pick?
That's tough. I've gone back and forth. I think I got to side with John on this one. I hate to say it.
Delusional.
I hate to say it, but I think after watching that Rockets Golden State series, it was so close. And I think if you take KD out of that, I can't rationalize, even as a trash Rockets team. I will agree with Sam, or maybe not trash Rockets team, but a questionable Rockets team. I'll agree with Sam on that. I think it's a really, really tough win for Golden State there without KD. So I think that is a really good argument to that point, and that won me over.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest thing that decides this is KD, and it's just because he's the second best player in the league. He's an incredible scorer. Sam, I'm going to side with John on this one, but the problem with that is that I love the Golden State Warriors without KD. I really do. I love Steph Curry. I love Klay Thompson. They were the Splash Brothers are amazing, and I fucking love them. But when you throw KD into any team, they're instantly going to be a final contender, high playoff contender, conference final contender. the KD effect is extremely polarizing, and I think that's what wins it.
OKC went to the final one time in his career. What are we talking about? Kevin, you still said it. Even without KD, the Warriors would have a tough win against them. That's a win. Without KD, you said that.
I think this is some revisionism about this Rockets team, though, because that year when they were in the Western Conference Finals, they were legitimately like one of the they were the best offense and I think the second best defense in the league. Like that year, they were legitimately like crushing teams, and then I get that, they basically failed because of exactly how they were built. Then they missed 27 consecutive 3-point shots and then lost in Game 7. I don't know that if you simulate that Game 7 100 times, I don't know how many times that's happening. That's all.
Look, okay, we
That's
can't
fair.
use 2K simulation, all right? 2K is biased completely, all right? It's not designed for success, all right?
All right. Closing arguments are done. Luckily, Kevin and I do not decide the winners.
Thank God.
Everybody else does. So
Both
you
teams.
guys can vote for this. Vote for John or vote for Sam on this question through Instagram and Twitter. We'll set that up after the episode is done. See who wins. And yeah. Now